Hey, it's your boy. I just want to give a quick shout out to fellow YouTuber Say Goodnight Kevin. This is my first and only Christian movie review so far, so if you want a steady helping of funny, insightful Christian movie reviews, I suggest you click on that little subscribe button on his channel because he's got a whole plethora of Christian movie reviews. He reviews real movies too, so don't fret, but Christian movies are his bread and butter. And now, let's start the review. I'm reviewing a Christian film today. It's called Let There Be Light. It's written and directed by Kevin Sorbo. Yes, that Kevin Sorbo.
Disappointed!
How would I describe the plot? Think God's Not Dead, but with the evil atheist teacher as the protagonist, and a much shorter debate scene. So the film goes straight into a fear-mongering opening credit sequence. 9/11, the Boston Marathon bombings, what, no footage of abortions or gay pride parades? Whack!
Praise up to the grandmama always told me that you need to bend the knee in Jesus' name, she said.
Damn, this song is lit! Let there be litness! Lit in a sense that I would rather light myself on fire than continue listening. Then we're led into a debate between a Christian stereotype and an atheist stereotype, which is kicked off by a long-winded dad joke.
It takes a greater leap of faith by far to accept the notion that inanimate particles, whose origin is unexplained, somehow becomes living entities which through a random process produce Miley Cyrus.
Top that, bitch. We're now introduced to Kevin Sorbo. His character name doesn't matter. He checks every box on the Christian movie atheist list. He's obnoxious.
Quote, close quote, quote, colon, harmless belief, comma, blessing, comma, or curse, question mark, close quote.
Kill yourself.
Rude.
The basic tenet of Christianity is
Whoa.
Superficial.
And I'm gonna cheerlead for sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Intellectually dishonest.
Let me ask you something. Is the God you believe in any different than the God of ISIS? Because they certainly don't think so. I think you're both smoking the same dope.
And most importantly, atheist by tragedy.
But my begotten son got a rather nasty form of cancer, which I watched eat away at his helpless, tiny body and ultimately kill him before reaching his 9th birthday. If I was a praying man, I would get down on my knees and I would pray to see my son just one last time. But then that would mean praying to the very God who killed him. So, rather than being vindictive...
Oh, but you've been doing so well, using emotional manipulation as a debating tactic. This opening scene kills all possible character development. They just shove an hour's worth of backstory down your throat in 8 minutes. And from then on, it's just like no development. Well, that's not necessarily true. There is room for some Christian propaganda in scenes of Kevin Sorbo muttering to himself.
Knock, knock. Who's there? The doorman. No pearly gates, and there was the doorman. Who?
You can't pull the wool over your eyes. No. But in truth, I don't. It's as much the vodka as the pain pills. And what do they pay the doorman around here for anyway? I mean, why don't they just hang up a big old poster and say, "Hey, come on up to Saul's room"?
Shut the fuck up, bitch!
Let's continue with the debate scene because, dear God, it gets hilarious.
And, with the help of some fairly effective chemicals and a healthy dollop of vodka, I can somehow make it through the night without blowing my brains out. Because I accept that's just the luck of the draw.
Mr. Sorbo, we're not your fucking shrink. What you're laying on an unsuspecting public are some pretty heavy personal demons which kind of contradict your supposed intellectually based anti-Christian laments. In fact, I'm led to believe you actually do believe in God, but you're just kind of mad at him because you've experienced a painful loss. Anyway, with that being said, and going by your own edgy logic and perception of Christians being irrational borderline schizophrenics, wouldn't that and your abject drug and alcohol abuse make your opinions completely unreliable? Serious question.
But don't you dare tell me about the love and the compassion of your so-called God Because if he felt like sacrificing his only begotten son, well, that's his business. But he should have bloody well kept his hands off of mine!
Bloody well? What are you, a Cockney chimney sweep?
There's no purpose, there's no rhyme, no reason. You don't need God to be moral. You don't need a deity to know that it's not cool to cut somebody's head off. All you need
Is a Blu-ray Season 1 copy of Hercules! So after a brief scene of Kevin Sorbo looking so sad in his apartment, he heads over to his ex-wife's crib in his stylish black sedan, black like his godless soul. He's there to pick up his kids for the day, but not before engaging in some lovely post-divorce bickering.
How can you take something as intensely private as the death of their brother and use it as part of your carnival act?
Whoa, this carnival act, it pays the bills around here.
Well, who pays the emotional bills?
Tell it, girl! Tell it!
Hey.
Hi, Dad.
Is that for me?
No.
No, you're a godless waste of space. Turns out the youngest has better shit to do than hang out with an old piss pot all day, so Sorbo and his oldest hang out instead.
How is everything?
Good.
School?
It's all right.
Girls?
Dad,
You know I'm saving myself for drunken gay sex with a linebacker.
need you to sign this.
You want to go to Haiti?
With our church youth group, we're raising money to help build a water system.
Water system, is that a euphemism for a well?
Yeah, and there's gonna be...
A hole in the ground. They're going to Haiti to dig a hole in the ground. Can't the people of Haiti dig? Do you have to go all the way down there and show them how to do it? I'm not...
What, you want to dig a well for poor brown people?
What are you, a fag? Dad, I'm going to do something good. Don't you even believe in doing good deeds?
Well, of course I do. I just don't believe in professional do-gooders.
Yes, clearly this 12-year-old boy has a degree in do-gooderology. Later at Sorbo's party, possibly celebrating the world record for laziest book titles, we bathe in several gallons more of his misery.
Champagne?
Anything to kill the pain works for me. There you go, sweetheart. It's my party and I'll drink if I want to. Drink if I want to. You would drink too if it happened to you.
Then he meets up with two other tragic losses.
Darling, you look fantastic. Oh, yes, of course. You wore his bloody guts for garters, that's what you did.
Oh, darling, you look fabulous, and look at my jowls, they are so exhausted.
Day breaks and it breaks away. Cecilia wakes the kids.
Yeah, thank you, cerebral palsy Bob Dylan. Thank you. And now we cut to Sorbo driving drunk. This is the worst drunk driving acting. Like, oh, I'm looking to the left, but I'm driving to the right. I'm looking to the right, but I'm driving to the left. And I keep on driving till I hit the wall. And the crash leads to one of the most visually stunning scenes in cinematic history. Inside a photo album birth canal. What? No. What? This is something. So his son comes out of the back of Kevin Spacey's throat to tell Sorbo it's not his time yet.
Daddy, let there be light.
And like Rose McGowan's Sanity, he starts disintegrating.
It's okay, Daddy.
No, I don't want to go.
I want to stay with you.
Let there be light.
Dave!
I don't want to go back to making Christian movies, David! Sorbo wakes up in the hospital, where his doctor exhibits the best bedside manner.
You have a serious blood clot that, if it breaks loose and travels to your brain, will cause a stroke. If you're careful and you are already on massive amounts of blood thinners, you know, it's a miracle. Clinically dead in the ambulance for 4 minutes.
You were clinically dead! Isn't that a corker? Finally, we see some semblance of actual drama.
I saw my boy.
Connor or Gus, are they here?
I saw Davy. I saw my son.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. What? Hold on.
You named your son Davy? Then his wife comes in to nag the shit out of him, because why not?
I'm not talking about damage control. I'm talking about just a minimal sense of responsibility.
and not risking your life so stupidly, sorry.
Later, he's back to his old drunken self again, of course, even returning to an inexplicably adoring public. Then again, if the Amazing Atheist can maintain 1 million subscribers, then this isn't that far-fetched. Then suddenly, in an overexposed haze, he confesses his delusions to his wifey, who just so happens to be there for this.
Katie, I saw our son.
What?
And it was beautiful.
I've always wanted to play the bongos!
Somebody call me!
Back at the hospital, a much more professional doctor tells him that, yeah, he's fine. Except for the huge fucking panic attack. Wifey cuts through the bullshit and tells him to open up about his vision.
That is called the death surge. Oftentimes, when someone almost dies, there is a surge of brain activity.
Science. And then Sorbo and the wifey head back to Sorbo's crib. Oh my god, what? Oh, cool. That is so tacky. Like, I know it's supposed to reference Sorbo's past career, but how do you explain that book title in reference to atheism? Things just don't make sense. They need to make sense.
God, I wish I died.
No comment. Speaking of which, the eldest son has a few comments of his own.
How's Dad doing?
He's going through a really hard time.
You're spending a lot of time with him. What's up with that?
How can you ask something like that?
What's gonna happen when he's better? He's gonna dump you again.
How about I dump your smug ass in foster care?
We're not back together.
He's a user, Mom. He uses you. He uses Connor and me.
Call me a traditionalist if you must, but children should not be concerning themselves with their parents' dick hopping. After a near act of much needed child abuse, wifey tries convincing Sorbo to get help.
You've gotten the best scientific explanation, and that hasn't satisfied you, and it hasn't brought you any comfort. Would you consider consulting a different source?
Like a rehabilitation center? Psychologist?
Let me guess. Your pastor.
What could it hurt?
My fucking mental health.
So the absolute worst sets up an interview, but it doesn't go too well.
That's fine. I've just wasted an entire morning and blown an opportunity to interview Keith Richards because you promised me an exclusive from the great Dr. Saul Harkins.
Girl, you passed on a rock legend for an actual rock? Sweetie, you're an idiot. Toilet gets his titties in a tingle at Sorbo's audacity to be mentally unwell. You.
How am I supposed to sell the celebrated author whose latest exciting point of view is, I don't know? Get your head out of the afterlife and back into this one. Darling, you're blowing it.
How exactly? He's barely eked out a God-loving fart, and you're totally convinced that he's tanking his career. How am I supposed to sell your books now? There's no money in books about the afterlife and religion? What do his beliefs have to do with you doing your damn job in the first place? Oh yeah, that's right. Everybody who's religious is automatically triggered by anyone who is religious. I forgot. Oh, and before we get to the rest of the movie, I gotta warn you guys. This character coming up is legendary. We've seen great actors, like De Niro and Cranston, but this motherfucker, James Gandolfini did not leave us early due to age and poor diet. Oh no. He purposely induced a heart attack out of respect for the man that you're about to see right now. Gaze upon the holy light of Pastor Vinny.
Jesus gets whacked, right? And the Romans were Italians. Now, I know a little bit about that. They stick his body in a tomb, they seal it up tighter than a cement drum, but nobody ratted out where the body was. People are getting whacked like it was the Middle Ages. When they wanted somebody to rat, they didn't mess around. What happens next? Bada bing!
That's crazy!
Did your wife tell you what I really was before I became a pastor? I was a wise guy.
A wise guy?
Yeah, a wise guy.
You're a wise guy?
Yeah, a wise guy.
I can't believe my own eyes. 5 Guys burgers and fries. I'm looking at the wisest of the guys. Bada bing, bada duh! So he talks to Sorbo about how he came to Jesus, and it's a big load of horseshit.
See, I didn't come to Jesus in any moment of epiphany. I'm a street guy. I don't buy into things too easy. You gotta prove it to me. I gotta see evidence.
But then he goes on to talk about how Jesus was resurrected and how that was enough evidence for him to become a Christian. Like, nigga, what?
Don't look at me like that.
You didn't see Jesus resurrected. You read about it in a book. How is that, like, seeing evidence? So he goes on to spout a couple of minutes of religious gibberish because we're halfway through the movie and our protagonist needs to hurry up and be a Christian already.
You don't think evil's a real force? Let me tell you, Doc, I seen evil.
Some of that evil I've poisonally inflicted.
Look what those guys ISIS, look what they're wearing. Their clothes are black, their flags are black. They're a cult of death. But Jesus spoke about loving our enemies. The answer to darkness is light.
Oh my God.
Not 1 minute ago, he wasn't taking anything this guy said seriously. Then Gabagoo over here says, yo, ISIS is whacking dudes. And now he's sobbing like he just read the reviews for this movie.
Oh my God.
And now, Sorbo's being baptized in the River Jordan, or the Creek LeBron. It's a joyous occasion before a certain someone farts all over it.
Careful, Mom. One day at a time.
Can you stay out of grown folks' business, you children of the corn, motherfucker? So later, Sorbo gets a second chance at that interview, finally getting everything out in the open.
These are the letters that saved my life.
Lesbian, trans, bi.
No.
Dear God, no, not those degenerates. Naturally, Sorbo's change of heart gets 1997 Drew Carey's jowls in a twist.
So why should people read your books?
They shouldn't.
I've never heard anything so absurd. I hope your friend Jesus can get your next book deal for you, because I know I certainly can't. As a client, you are fired. You might as well have died in that car accident. You're dead to me.
What the fuck is going on? Jesus, suck a dick. Not the character, I mean the people who made this movie. Suck a dick. So Wifey decides to piggyback on Sorbo's emotional crutch. Oh, I'm sorry, spiritual awakening, and comes up with an ingenious plan.
You know how you've been racking your brains trying to figure out what let there be light means? What if it's as simple as this?
Turn on your flashlight app?
No, on the darkest night of the year, people go outside and they shine their flashlights up to heaven, lighting up the darkness.
So...
Turning on your flashlight app?
So you want to proselytize?
Absolutely, and without apology. We should be proselytizing life with as much vigor as ISIS proselytizes death.
We went from a faithless, broken man reconnecting with his family and learning to cope with loss to fuck ISIS? Focus! Focus!
All right then.
All right then.
Oh wow, her plan was so stupid they're forced to sit in silent shame. But Sorbo and Wifey get past their shame and go on a date.
Dad. 10 o'clock, sharp.
Behind these eyes, one finds only darkness.
This kid is making me a firm believer in corporal punishment. So they're at dinner, talking, connecting, and suddenly Sorbo pops the question. But hold on, that's not the standout in this scene. Listen to the music that is playing directly after he proposes.
Will you do me the unbelievable and totally undeserved honor of becoming my wife again?
I know I'm ready for the rest of my life. I wanna sing out loud, hallelujah, praise God. Nothing compares, you're the greatest love.
And hallelujah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, your love.
Anyway, they make it back to the crib, busting slobs out front until...
Hello? 10:30? School night? Thought we had an understanding.
Well, I think we're about to have a new understanding.
And it's right on the back of my fist.
I've asked for your
mother's hand in marriage.
Yes! Awesome!
Wow, they seem so happy. I hope nothing bad happens to ruin it. What?
Mom? It probably calls for a ring.
Okay, Katie.
Is that a seizure, or is she trying to read a billboard from far away? After something that traumatic, kids need some healthy reassurance.
You and your brother say a prayer for your mama. I'll call you from the hospital.
Dad. God's not gonna let this happen again, is he?
It was at this moment he knew forcing religion onto someone young enough to believe in Santa Claus is fucked up.
I don't know. That's where those prayers of yours come in. Just go back inside.
So kids, if your mother dies, it's because you didn't pray hard enough. This scene is basically the doctor telling her she's got stage 4 brain cancer. The kind of stage 4 that only shows up during the third act of bad movies. Before wifey kicks the bucket, they tie the knot.
Sorry, change of honeymoon plans. You two are doing Sean Hannity tomorrow.
You're kidding.
They go to Sean Hannity with their vanity project. Clever.
Are you guys ready for the amount of heat that'll be coming your way with this?
You know, the amount of heat that turning on your flashlight app can bring.
You're literally going to try and convert kids to Christianity. What about diversity? What right do you have to impose your religious values onto somebody else?
Well, what right does ISIS have to cut people's heads off?
That's a powerful point.
I don't have a joke for that. Just listen to my laughter while looking at Sean Hannity's dumb fucking face instead.
We just want to give everyone the opportunity to speak to somebody about the love of Christ. I mean, they can make their own decisions. And unlike ISIS, this is not a convert or die proposition.
Christianity. At least we're not ISIS.
On my network, we're in every country, and on Christmas Eve, we could do a 3-hour special to show this band of light as it makes its way around the globe through the different time zones. We could literally cover each country, each section of the world.
Spreading this worldwide doesn't mean everyone's gonna give a shit. Tonight's the big night, everybody. Everyone's gonna hold their phone in the air like a bunch of jackasses.
Well, at 3 a.m. this morning on Christmas Island, a band of light visible from outer space began to move around the world, from New Zealand to Russia to Australia, Japan, and even amazingly in North Korea. How did anybody in North Korea hear about this?
It must be a fucking miracle.
I was forced into a marriage by my father when I was 14 to a brutal man. And when I said I would leave him, I was told that I would be killed. I came to America, and I was quite literally saved by the love of Christ.
Another fucking miracle. They're stacking up all over the place.
I love you so much. I'm sorry for ever being unkind or any harsh words.
You got something on your hat. So the thing happens. It's wonderful. It's magical. Oh wait, there's a dying woman 1 foot away from him. This death scene is so awkward. They go back and forth between her dying and them singing. It's hilarious. Like, oh hey kids, your mom died on the second verse, but you sound great. I would, but my fingers aren't that stupid. Let There Be Light is like most other Christian films. It sucks. And like other Christian films, there are nice lessons to be learned, but they're buried underneath a pile of bad acting, unanswered questions, stereotypes, self-righteousness, photo vaginas, and overall half-assed writing. The film at least tries to keep the narrative focused for like the first half. Then its wheels start to give out, and the plot steers directly into an ISIS ravine. I think the writer went, what should we make? A straightforward film about family reconnecting through tragedy and tasteful Christian teachings? Or a flat-out pissing contest between Christianity and Islam? Because at its heart, that's what this movie is. I'm totally fine with films criticizing Islam or ISIS, but goddamn, this was not the one to do it. But do you know the worst part of Let There Be Light? It's Sorbo's performance. Not because it was bad, because it was mostly good. In fact, he's a really good actor. There were several genuine moments of solid acting. Many times I thought, Jesus, imagine the performance Sorbo could give if he wasn't spouting a bunch of hollow propaganda. But he takes this ridiculous tripe so seriously. His scenes end up verging on comedic. He's wasting his own talent, and honestly, it makes me sad. The filmmakers, they tried, they really did. But if I gave a good review to every movie that tried, they'd all have a good review. Last night, Jesus came to me in a dream and said, sitting through this movie was worse than my crucifixion. True facts.